Mariners lose 3-2. They fall to 6-10 on the season. They lose the series to the Cubs 2-1. The Seattle Mariners have still not won a series in the year 2024. Go over the scoring plays. Cody Bellinger reaches on an infield single, and Seiya Suzuki scores on a throwing error by Luis Castillo. 1-0. Fourth inning, Michael Busch clobbers a homer to right center. That scores Dansby Swanson. 3-0. Mariners get their 2 runs in the 6th on a Jorge Polanco homer to score J.P. Crawford 3-2. The positives. The biggest positive, today's my grandma's birthday. She's 94 years young today. And as frustrated as I am by the Seattle Mariners losing this game and continuing to play like cat poop through the first 10th of the season, hard to care. I love my grandma so much. She means everything to me. How much more, like, she's always meant a lot to me, but with Mom and Skip gone now, to say I'm relying on her, it's quite the understatement. She is the best person in the world. It's not even close. My grandma, all due respect to your grandma or any relatives you have, your loved ones, there's no better person than my grandmother. So that's the main positive to take out of this. Happy birthday, Grandma. Luis Castillo was pretty good today. And he's still catching a little too much of the plate sometimes. Like, obviously, he was in the previous starts. And he did today. That home run to Michael Busch was just absolutely shellacked. Talk about an impressive series, by the way. But I thought he pitched really well today. Much closer to the Luis Castillo the Mariners need in 2024. If you get starts like this from Luis Castillo down the stretch, or not even down the stretch, for the remainder of the year, they're going to be fine. Luis Castillo, or at least in that regard, Luis Castillo is not a problem if he's pitching like he did today. Wasn't perfect, but certainly good enough. Bullpen did a nice job today as well. Really nice inning from Spire, really nice inning from Trent Thornton. Kept him in the game. Any other positives? Congratulations to Jorge Polanco on his first homer. We'll take a homer and a walk. The numbers are still pretty ugly, but we'll take a homer and a walk. Josh Rojas walks a couple of times. J.P. Crawford reaches twice. Those numbers are starting to slowly get up. Still not nearly good enough, of course. I think that's it for offensive positives. One big positive for sure is simply Seattle, providing the very best in Seattle sports gear. Awesome stuff for the Mariners, Seahawks, Kraken, Huskies, Storm, Sounders. You can find it all. Once you find what you're looking for, check out, enter code MOLLYWOP15 to take 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. SimplySeattle.com. Link in the description. Really appreciate their support. Speaking of support, Luis Castillo got none of it today. I mean, we talked about a couple of guys who had decent offensive games. This offense, once again, was terrible. And I'm kind of tired of hearing about the depth of this lineup. Because what are you talking about? Are there guys who are going to be better? Sure. You can't get much worse than Mitch Garver's been so far this year. Can't get much worse than Luke Raley's been this year. Can't get much worse than, honestly, Cal Raleigh has been this year. Can't get much worse than Julio hitting 164, or JP hitting 164. We'll talk about Julio. JP hitting 164, 261, 262. You can't get much worse than that. But not getting worse isn't good, right? And I just look at the floor of this team and I am concerned. I acknowledge how much baseball there is to be played, because of course I do. But if you aren't at least a smidgen concerned with what this team has looked like over the first 10th of the year, good for you, I guess. Because I am, especially offensively. Ty France was awful today. Mitch Garver was awful today. Luke Raley was atrocious today. And Luke Raley is going to start seeing some playing time because unfortunately Dominic Canzone leaves with, I believe, an AC joint injury. That's not going to be a couple days. I would be very surprised if that's not a trip on the injured list and possibly a long one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's ready to go, but I really doubt it. I really doubt it. Gonna pause while I cough my lungs. Is anyone else just getting destroyed by allergies right now in the PNW? I sure am. Whew. Coughing up a storm, sneezing up a storm, itching up a storm. Too many storms. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, this offense stinks. And I'm not saying it's going to stink all year, but right now, it really looks bad. And, well, let's just get into it. The Julio Rodriguez mistake. And it's a massive one. You can't get picked off there. Great pickoff play. Great pickoff play. And I like two things. Number one, I like the decision to give Julio the day off. Number two, I like the decision to bring Julio Rodriguez in to run there. One of the fastest players in baseball. Why the heck not? But you can't get picked off there. It can't happen. If you get caught stealing there, I'm okay. A caught stealing there means that you have made an attempt to get to second base to try to get into scoring position. I'm fine with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Can't get picked off. And I love Julio Rodriguez. I know there's a lot of people who are really down on Julio Rodriguez right now, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion and all that crap. I think giving up on Julio Rodriguez is the stupidest freaking thing that you could possibly do. And I'm not actually even saying that's a little bit of this I thought Steph Curry could shoot argument. I'll just be honest, that I just made. But there are people who are really down on Julio right now. And I will just point out that this offense with him has looked like crap, to be fair. Boy, did it look bad without him today. They got to get him going. And, Julio has to take responsibility for that. And I'm sure one of the things I think Julio has to do is just stop trying to do too much. I didn't think he was doing that in the early portion of the season. A lot of hard contact getting caught. Now he's pressing. Pretty clearly pressing. But Julio is far from the biggest concern for this team. This has just been, and again, 9/10 of the season to go. But we've played 1/10 of the season now. That's not that small a sample. It's been as miserable an experience watching this baseball team as I can remember in a long time. A long time. And of course, expectations have to do with that. When the Mariners stunk, and we knew they stunk, it's hard to be too upset about that. Stinky team gonna stink. A team with talented players. Really talented players. Talented enough? I don't know. But certainly talented players to play this badly in result and in process and just overall enjoyment watching the product has been unbelievably annoying. Thank God for this channel for a lot of reasons, but for the chance to just vent. And I'm okay with this just being a venting channel right now because what the heck else are you going to do? I am just flabbergasted at not only how bad they're playing, how incredibly boring and just a clear lack of enthusiasm for the game. I don't know. 6-10. It's another bad start that puts you going uphill again. Luckily, just to start. Fortunately, just to start. But This is ugly. There's no other word for it. This was at least a decent little baseball game. At least the last few innings were. But man, I'm not having fun. Having fun recording these videos, but not having fun watching this team. Tomorrow, George Kirby against Frankie Montas. Kind of three fun pitching matchups. We got Kirby against Montas. Of course, they're playing the Reds. Logan Gilbert against Hunter Green. And Bryce Miller against Andrew Abbott. Three talented pitchers for the Reds and a very fun Reds lineup. Ellie De La Cruz. So fun. I'm kind of jealous of Reds fans because I'm not sure if the Reds are better than the Mariners, but they're a lot more fun to watch. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Please wish my grandma a happy birthday. You know, people can comment whatever they want, but I'd appreciate just happy birthday, Grandma. That's all we need to say. We know how bad this team is, and I appreciate all the likes, subscribes, all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. But instead of yelling about Julio, instead of yelling about Castillo, instead of yelling about all this stuff, let's just say happy birthday, Grandma. Happy birthday, Grandma.